Welcome to MoobsCast. Now, before we get into this week's show, I just want to take a few minutes just to express my condolences and sadness of what happened in Orlando last week. From everybody over this side of the pond, from myself and my family, friends and things like that, everybody is in support of Orlando. We will always stand with our friends over in America. We stand together. To all the victims' families, there's not a lot we can kind of say that will, make you feel any better. But you're all in our thoughts. You're all in our prayers, and yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Anyway, thank you. On with the show. What's going on, guys, and welcome to a new episode of MoobsCast. I am Moobs Like Jabber, and always I am here to give you your weekly roundup of WWE RAW. Now, what did we all think? I thought it was alright. I didn't think it was amazing. I was expecting a lot better, being as it was the last RAW before Money in the Bank, but I thought it was alright. I thought it was good. Probably overall I'll give it around about a 7. Not quite where I wanted it to go with a few things, but it was a good show. It wasn't a great show, it was a good show. They're obviously getting ready to build up for SmackDown going live, for the split drafts and all that kind of thing. Like I said, I was expecting a little bit more epicness, is the only word I can think to use, to sort of get you ready and be like, whoa, this is happening. It kind of didn't go there, but it went, it built. So let's get straight into it. Monday Night Raw starts from New Orleans. Yes, the place of WrestleMania a couple of years ago, which was an absolute excellent WrestleMania. Really enjoyed it. Had a buddy who, if he's watching this, Danny, this is a shout out to you, buddy. He went to that Mania and he came back saying it was absolutely fantastic time. I think it was his first Mania. It was either his first or second, but either way, he absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. He says New Orleans is a fantastic place to be. Everything he was telling us about it sounded epic. So there you go, Danny. That's a shout out for you. So anyway, we start open with the New Day. As always, Big E's there. Oh, New Orleans! Don't you dare be sour! Clap for your world famous 2-time champs and feel the power! Sorry, I'll stop now. Sorry. I couldn't help myself. I've always wanted to do that. So anyway, they come out and saying that basically they're fighting Gallows and Anderson, Enzo and Cash, bada bing, and Vaudevillains. They said that basically it was against them because they're the tag team champs. They don't have to be pinned. They don't even have to be in the decision of it. Blah, 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 blah. Now, the best part about the promo before what happened was the fact that Woods kind of gets down on his knees on the floor and he's going. And he's doing this and we're like, what? He's like. And he looks at Kofi's trainers, or sneakers. So, apologise. I'm from the UK, I call them trainers. You guys call them sneakers. And he basically, Kofi wearing these plain white trainers and they ripped him. They absolutely ripped him, basically saying that they were like old man trainers, everything else. Kofi's defending and saying, these are hip, these are all this and that and everything else. But they ripped him and it was hilarious. Both Big E and Xavier. I mean, Xavier's brilliant at the comedy stuff anyway. But yeah, they ripped into him. And then they do the whole because the New Day rocks. So then we have come out my boys, who I'm really still hyped on. Tell you what, being as I've done the New Day, let's do this. His name is Enzo Amore, and he's a bona fide G and a first-time stud or something like that. I don't know. I'll practice. I'll work on that one. We'll get better. I'll do it better next time. Anyway, Enzo and Cash comes out. And Enzo does the whole entrance spiel coming down the ramp and all that kind of stuff. And then Cass kind of takes over the mic, walks into the ring, and just says that basically they can't wait to be the next tag team champs. But then he turns around and says, "Don't get me wrong, we've got nothing against you guys." It was kind of like making sure they stayed face and face. It was like, "Look, I've got nothing against you guys." He even said the words, "I like what you guys do." Which is really good. You know, I know they're trying to keep them face, but the way they did it was generally wholehearted that they generally like what the New Day do. And then he just went, "But I've got to tell you," and he looks at Kofi and says, "But them trainers do suck." And then they start ripping him. To which they then lead on to the funniest part of the promo by far, when Cass looks at Woods and says, "That girl," meaning the trombone Francesca too, "do you know where she was last night?" And Woods is like, she's a grown woman. She can do what she wants." And Cass drops the bomb that she spent the night with Enzo. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, they was ripping. Enzo was like, "I took her down Bourbon Street. I did this. I put alcohol down her neck. I did this. I did this. And then I sucked her and blew her all night long." I'm not kidding. It was like, what? It was absolutely hilarious. Woods kind of spits his dummy out and squares up to Enzo and's like, and they just start all this. And then just before they get into the scrap, the Vaudevillains come out. Now, they come out to massive boos because they interrupted, which I was a little bit disappointed. I was liking what the New Day, Enzo and Cass do, and I thought they could have done a little bit more with the promo after. It was like hilarious, but they could have just done that. I just wanted to see that a little bit more. It was a fantastic promo. I'm not going to say it was disappointing anyway, apart from I just thought they could have just done that tiny bit more, just add a bit more to it. Anyway, Vaudevillains come out. They ramble on about they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Nobody's particularly interested in them. To which then Gallows and Anderson come out. And it basically turns out that it's going to be Kofi and Big E, Enzo and Cass versus Gallows, Anderson, and the Vaudevillains. Gallows and Anderson say that they're going to be tag champs, as you would expect. All four believe they're going to be champions. But then it kicks into the match. I didn't think it was a bad match. I was getting a bit sick of the advertisement commercials during it. I was like just getting into it again, and then we go to another ad break, and it's like, Jesus Christ, just let us watch the match. There was a few times you thought the match was over and they was hyping it up. But yeah, it didn't. But everybody did their own little thing. It was like the Vaudevillains took control of Enzo at one point. Enzo did the big tag over to Cass. Cass, then they did it with the New Day and Luke and Gallows. And it kind of just went back and forth. The whole quality of match was great quality. You kind of got to see a bit of everybody. And I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was pretty good what they did. They're obviously... Well, the ending basically was that Gallows and Anderson take out... They all take out each other, but then Gallows and Anderson are left standing and do their finisher to Kofi and get the tag. So obviously... And you've got JBL in the background saying, they're my favourites, these guys are going to win it, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So they're obviously bigging up Gallows and Anderson now. Being as Money in the Bank is this Sunday... I'll give my prediction. I don't think they will take the tag titles off the New Day. I really don't. Just because they're still bigging them up about getting closer to the record. So I don't think they'll take the title off them yet. If they do, I think Gallows and Anderson would be too obvious. And I don't think they will... I want them to, but I don't think they'll put it on Enzo and Cash. They'll not go from a face tag team to another face tag team. I wouldn't have thought. So my prediction is the Vaudevillains. My prediction is that the New Day keep hold of the title. That's my main prediction. But if they are going to take it off them, I think they'll put it on the Vaudevillains just to get them more and more as a heel tag team. That's what I think. But like I say, my prediction is New Day walk out of Money in the Bank Las Vegas as tag champs. So we'll move on to... it was pointless in the sense of... He came out for 30 seconds, got beat up and left, and that was it. But they're obviously building up. So the music kicks in and Titus O'Neil comes out. And just as he does all the and all this stuff, Rusev comes down, attacks him, throws him into the ramp, does all, basically kicks the living crap out of him, and then gets him in the Cobra Clutch or whatever he calls it. And it's like they're now going to fight in Money in the Bank, which we all kind of knew that was going to happen anyway. That was it. There was nothing more that happened other than he came out and Rusev beat him up. So we'll just see what happens. With regards to that, I don't think they'll take the title off. I don't think they'll put it on Titus O'Neil anyway. I think Rusev walks out as champion. Probably keeps the belt for a little bit longer yet. Yeah, that's what I think. Then we'll move on to, they were doing promos of the Shield all night. They were showing how they debuted, the stuff they got up to, and the way they ended. Now, I'm getting a bit bored of it. We all know what happened with the Shield. It seems to me that this is obviously what they was going to probably do for Mania with Roman versus Rollins. But it's like the Shield was one of the best trios ever. And what they did was great, but in my opinion, they ended them too early. But then they had to end them because they needed solo superstars. I was just gutted that they ended them so early. I always felt the Shield had a lot more shelf life, but needs more. So they needed solo stars, so that's what they did. But it was all to basically sort of build up to the Ambrose Asylum. So Ambrose is in the ring, welcome to the Ambrose Asylum and all that kind of stuff. Then he introduces, and he just turns around and says, the scum of the earth, Seth Rollins, and he comes out. Then he introduces Roman. So then you've got, and this is obviously what they was trying to do, you've got all three members of the Shield in one ring. Ambrose with the mic, Rollins and Reigns on either side. Ambrose goes into questions, asking, what kind of things can we expect? He's asking Rollins about the good old days. He's asking Reigns about stuff that happened. Rollins starts reminiscing about times while they were out, getting drunk in places, and sort of giving you a little bit of an insight, but then keeps the heel side of it by coming out with, but the best thing I ever did was hitting you guys with the chair. Obviously then the fans start booing. Rollins goes on to say that you might think you're the champion because you never lost it, but I'm the guy, I'm the champion, and when I beat you on Sunday, it's just a case of saying you've got no excuses. It was a pretty decent promo. It didn't do. I was expecting a lot more from it. I was hoping for some real epic stuff. I mean, the way it ended was that Ambrose had said, "Look, you can both stand there and say you're going to be champion, but I could win the Money in the Bank briefcase and cash it in on either of you." That kind of spills Rollins into like, "Oh, screw this crap." And then Ambrose and Reigns are like face to face, and Rollins knocks Ambrose into Reigns, who knocks Reigns out the ring. Then it all kind of breaks into a free for all. They all three are actually fighting each other. It goes with Roman taking out Seth, and then Ambrose hitting dirty deeds on Roman, and that's how it ends. And it was good, but I was hoping for a lot more. I don't think they've hyped it as much. Now, if the story was to continue and then it got hyper and hyper and hyper, they've hyped it by just saying it's a WrestleMania worthy match. They've not really done anything else. Roman hasn't done something epic to Rollins, and Rollins hasn't done something epic to Roman. So I kind of hope this isn't just this and then that's it. Is it a case that Rollins wins Money in the Bank and then they carry on the feud with Roman? Or is it a case that Roman beats Rollins at Money in the Bank and they carry on the feud? I don't know. Purely with the lukewarm way they've done it with regards to the two fighters, they've built it up, on the show and with Michael Cole and everything else, loads. But with regards to the two of them, I think it was very lukewarm. It's kind of not lived up to the hype that the WWE are trying to build it, if I'm totally honest. With regards to Sunday, to be honest, I'm torn. Part of me thinks they'll keep it on Roman because they'll not want to stick it back on Seth with just coming back from injury, and obviously they've had plenty of that with Cena and Daniel Bryan. So part of me thinks they won't risk Rollins straight away as the guy. But then another part of me thinks they're not just going to bring him back to have a feud to lose it, because what are they going to do with him after? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm probably going to go with... do they keep it on Roman, though, even with the unpopularity? Or I don't know. I'm torn. I'm just going to chuck it out there that I think Roman walks away as champion, and they carry on the feud. I don't think the feud's ended whoever wins it. I'm just going to say Roman. I'm 50-50, but I'm just going to say Roman, just to give, a prediction. So yeah, we'll just go with that. Then we had Paige versus Charlotte. They're having a tag match at Extreme at Money in the Bank. It's going to be Dana and Charlotte versus Natalya and Becky. The Charlotte thing was just like it was before the Natalya match. It was a good match. Thought Paige looked really good. Thought Charlotte looked very good. Good quality match. This is what I want to see. I don't want to see the Natalya stuff. I want to see the new women's stuff. I thought it was very, very good. And it ended the same way as last time. Paige hits her with the Rampage, and she wins. And Dana basically screwed it over for her because she was supposed to help out, and she ended up screwing her over. And it's so Paige gets another win. So we've seen her twice in the space of 2 months, and twice she's got the win, which makes me believe maybe they're getting ready to release Paige on the rest of us again, and hopefully start giving her another big push. So yeah, and then like I say, they've set up the 2 tag matches. It's not going to be for obviously the women's championship, but they are having a tag match. So then we had a pointless thing which I didn't even watch, and I will admit I completely skipped it. We had a match, Sheamus versus Zack Ryder. Apollo Crews had done something earlier to Sheamus, and Zack Ryder thought it was funny. They had a match. I skipped it. All I know is it ended. I don't know who won. Didn't even interest me. But Crews, the last bit I saw, Crews come running down, and Sheamus did it, hightailed it off. I don't know, and I'm really sorry if you're a big Sheamus fan, but he bores me just like Del Rio does, and I wasn't interested in it, and I really wasn't. So unfortunately, I can't talk too much about that. Moving on, Cesaro versus Zayn. They had each of the 6 men was involved one way or the other with the match, and they had Cesaro versus Zayn. I thought it was absolutely epic match. Cesaro looked fantastic as always. So did Zayn. I mean, them two are just epic in the ring, whether they're against each other or with each other. Love everything that the two guys do. The moves they were doing fantastic. There's a lot of trust there. Really, really enjoyed it. And the ending move was fantastic. It went up that Zayn come off the ropes. Cesaro went for the uppercut, but instead Zayn flipped over and did like a flip, and obviously power bombed Cesaro, and pinned him for the 1-2-3. That shocked me. I thought Cesaro was going to win that. I'm shocked they let Zayn win that. It was really, really good. I'm happy with the ending. Top quality match. Probably. These are the things that are building up for Money in the Bank. Del Rio and Jericho doesn't interest me, but Owens has looked really good running up to it. Ambrose has looked really good up to it. And Zayn and Cesaro looks absolutely fantastic, but we're going to talk more about that later on. Then we had the contract signing, John Cena versus AJ Styles for officially. Cena comes out and does a typical Cena promo, rally the troops, the usual. I'm not even, the John Cena promos. He's done them for 13 years. You know exactly what he's going to say. AJ comes out, and Cena says to him, there's 2 contracts to sign. One says AJ Styles versus John Cena. The other one said AJ Styles and the club versus John Cena. So he had a choice. If he signed one, the club was allowed to be involved in the match. If he signed the other, it was just AJ versus Cena. And Cena really, I suppose the idea was to make out what kind of person AJ was. He came out with, I think you'll sign that one with the club on because you're a bitch. And he said the word bitch. which, that's a really naughty word for John Cena. Ooh. Oh no, John Cena said a naughty word. But AJ signed the one that was just him and Cena. That match, I'm really looking forward to. I'm not a big Cena fan in the ring, but I am really, really looking forward to it. They've given it a big fight feel. They keep saying, like the Rollins and Reigns, it's a WrestleMania quality match, which I suppose it is. What makes me laugh is they're trying to make out that they've had these, or they're making out that both have had the worldwide superstardom. Well, for me, AJ's been and done it all around everywhere. I mean, they didn't mention TNA. He mentioned all the companies AJ worked for, but he didn't mention TNA. But AJ's had a fantastic career out and about, and Cena's just had pushes in the WWE. He's been Vince's guy for the past 13 years. They've had very different careers. AJ's had to fight for where AJ is. Cena maybe had to fight early on, but it might sound harsh. But from an outside looking in, it did also. It's always looked like Cena's got everything he wanted, and that's not a dig at Cena, and it's really not. But that's just my opinion of looking in. It was like when Cena was doing the promo. If I was in the crowd, I wanted to chant "Same old Cena always sucks," or "Same old Cena shitty promos," stuff like that. Or basically just chant "Same old Cena." Or "Same old Cena, always boring." There you go. If you're at the next main event, if you're at Money in the Bank, just do me a favour and chant "Same old Cena, always boring." Yeah, I'm looking forward to it though. I am looking forward to it. I'm not going to lie. Then we had a tag team match. We had they did a promo earlier where Shane was in the back and Corporate Kane was there. He did what Teddy did last week. He was lobbying for a job on SmackDown. He wanted to be the general manager. And it'd gone on a few times, and Stephanie wasn't impressed, and Shane apparently was bonding with him, and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, Owens walks in and says, "Well, I just want to, I want to have a word. Mr. Del Rio's only just turned up for the show, an hour and 20 minutes late. It's a little bit unprofessional. I think he should be kicked out of the match." And Shane's like, "Well, no, that's not going to happen." Del Rio comes in and just sort of accuses Owens of telling airport security that he was at whatever, and airport security kept him for 6 hours. That's probably the most exciting thing Del Rio has ever said in his entire career in WWE. I don't like the guy. He bores the tits off me. He really does. I don't like you, Del Rio. Go away. But anyway, that was really good. I think it was more Owens than Del Rio, to be fair. But they had a tag match anyway, and it was Owens and Del Boro versus the Lucha Dragons. If they lost or if they refused to fight together, they would lose their spot, and the Lucha Dragons would go in Money in the Bank. The match itself, it was alright. Owens is Owens. If it wasn't for Owens, it'd have been a complete bust. Owens made it look pretty decent. I've got to be honest with you. I like Kevin Owens. I say it every single week. I really, really like him. I like where he does. I like what he stands for. I like where he's going. I like what he's going to be. But anyway, that kind of finished. Del Rio kicked Owens. They had a big spat. They obviously won. There was no way they was ever going to lose. I mean, they're not going to take Owens and Del Boro. As much as I'd like them to take Del Boro out, they're never going to take him out. So they won. After they was in the back after, and Owens was complaining to Stephanie, saying about Shane. Shane then decides, Shane and Stephanie then decide to start competing. So the main event's going to be Ambrose versus Jericho. Shane has made Sami Zayn guest ring announcer. Great. So Stephanie says, "Oh, well, I'll make Kevin Owens another guest ring announcer." Great. So then Shane says, "Well, I'll make Cesaro the announcer." So then she makes Del Boro the ring time guy. And it's like, right, okay. You know what's going to happen. The match starts. Ambrose and Jericho look absolutely fantastic. Owens and Zayn are giving it all this on the mic, at the ringside. Del Rio, you don't see much of. Thank God he's out the way and just stay out the way. But the match itself was a cracking match. It was a great match. They did fantastic. Jericho does what Jericho does every single week. Ambrose did what Ambrose does. I really, really enjoyed it. And then the ending, it just basically finished where, Ambrose won the match. He hit Jericho. Jericho went for the code breaker, and Ambrose hit him with the dirty deeds instead. He wins the match. Then they all do what they always do. They do each other's finishes, like Del Rio did something to Owens, Owen did something to Zayn, and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. But the whole show finished with Jericho on his own, sat at the top of the ladders, grabs a briefcase and sat there. So obviously they're making it like Jericho could win it. Now, I don't believe Jericho will win it. However, he has never won one, so don't ever rule him out. Don't think they will, though. What do I think is going to happen? There's no way in the world they can give the briefcase to Del Rio, surely. But then we say that, and he gave Sheamus the title when Rollins got injured. I hope he doesn't. I hope, for God's sake, he doesn't give it Del Rio. I don't think he'll give it Jericho. Although, again, you can't rule him out because he's never won one. I personally think he will give it to either of two people. Now, I think it's going to be a face this year. We haven't had a face for it. I think Cena was the last face. And that's when he fought Punk and didn't win it. Who do I think? If they're going to give it a face, I think they will give it Owens. If they're going to give it a face, they will give it Ambrose. And then we'll have a Shield triple threat feud, which is, as I always keep saying, as far as I believe, is what they was going to do for Mania. So I think, my mind tells me they're going to give it Ambrose. I don't think they'll give it Zayn yet. I don't think they'll give it Cesaro. I think Cesaro will fight The Miz again. They can't give it Del Rio or Jericho, surely. So my tip is Ambrose. However, I would personally give it Owens if they're going to give it another heel. Just purely because Owens will do however long until he cashes in a fantastic job, and it will push Owens on like it has done Rollins and Edge and Kane, and it's built careers of Money in the Bank. So I think that's what they'll do again, or I think that's what they should do. But I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say Ambrose wins Money in the Bank. What do I think anything else will happen at the Money in the Bank? Well, we haven't seen the Wyatts for a while. They're due back. I know Bray's been injured and Rowan's been injured. I don't know the timescale on how long they're out for now. I haven't seen on Twitter, but I'm informed by a lot of fans and people who watch this show, people who are in Facebook groups, that Bray's been tweeting. So there's a possibility Bray could return at Money in the Bank. I won't rule that out. I wouldn't be surprised if he does anyway. I mean, maybe Bray Cena or Bray and Ambrose again. I don't know. I'm not saying he will, but I wouldn't rule out Bray making an appearance. And I won't rule out, because it wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't. I don't know if to believe the whole Ryback situation, but I wouldn't rule out that he's taking a break and he's maybe sorting things out with Vince. And the fact is, because they're in Las Vegas, is the only reason I won't rule out a shock Ryback return as a heel. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I say, I'm not saying, oh yeah, I definitely think that'll happen. I just won't rule it out. I won't rule out Ryback making an appearance. So, anyway, so that's it for this week. There's only, as I always finish off, one thing for me to do. And that is for me to say, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed this episode of the podcast. As always, as I always say, please contact me on any of these social media sites. This show proudly states that it is a podcast for the fans, by a fan, and with the fans. So if you do want to be a guest on the next show, which is Monday night or Monday after, because obviously Money in the Bank is Sunday night, I'll stay up and watch it live, get up nice and early, and then we'll record the podcast Monday before Raw and get it uploaded. So if anybody is interested in doing the next podcast, which is a review of Money in the Bank, please get in contact. Twitter, Facebook, even Twitch TV, and comments in the comment section on YouTube. Please don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, hit that like button, show your support to an indie. I don't get any money for doing this. I do this purely for the love of WWE. It's an absolute passion of mine. It has been for 30 years. So just show me some support by hitting the sub button, which as always is, got it right this week, it's always in the bottom corner down there. It's always down there. It's a little white button that says Moobs across it. Hit that sub button. You will never ever miss a show. That'll give me some support. Hit the like button. Now I know people are enjoying what I'm doing. Don't forget as well to share to Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever you can. I mean, I don't use Snapchat, but whatever you guys, social media wise, that you might be in groups with WWE, anything like that, please share as well. I love doing. I am, I think we're on episode 10 now. I am absolutely loving doing this every single week, bar a few weeks because of work. But this is my gift to WWE fans. So, like I say, if you are enjoying it, make sure you show some support wherever you can. So, all that's left me to say is thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you Monday with the Money in the Bank podcast, and take care of yourself. And Moobs out.